All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I appreciate your flexibility. I literally just got off of a CBS Live hit. I had Fox earlier, and then sadly we're going to have to cut out a little bit early at 11:25. I have a BBC hit at 11:25 our time. We have a lot to cover. I'm glad that we're doing a full week because I apologize for all the flexibility today, but man, we have so much to cover, a lot going on. As I kind of predicted, I said, hey, I think the market might actually rally today, and actually the S&P 500's got a good rally. Oil's not doing that bad. Why? The market doesn't like uncertainty. What's certain? We already took out potentially the nuke sites. Iran had some bluster yesterday that said, we're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. Did you see what Xi Jinping just said? And I briefed you on this last week. China gets 50% of their oil from Iran in the region. They ain't closing no strait, and Xi Jinping just said that too. So that's why you're also seeing a relief rally. For my current members, I just shot an S&P 500 bear call spread because this little bit of a relief rally was going to fade. So make sure you check the Hunters and the Max Afterburner thread because I do have a bear call spread up. I believe at the 2025 strikes on the S&P 500, and that's already up $500. So that's to my current members. For everybody else, welcome aboard. We have literally hundreds of new folks who are registered for this free week of live trading and training. Let me remind you, nobody else does this. Everybody else is going to give you death by PowerPoint slides showing them hand-picked trades from God knows how many years ago and say, buy my service and then I'll show you what we do. That's stupid. I'm going to open up the doors to our regular briefs this week to the public because you're asking for it. No offense to the folks who are here now. Everybody's a genius when the market's going straight up, right? Wrong. The only people who are real geniuses, like our members, are the ones who print money when things go to hell in a handbasket. So here's our flight schedule real quick for the week. 10 a.m. brief. I'm going to give a quick welcome aboard, quick options brief. Then we're going to literally jump into some trading. No offense to all the new folks, but I'm going to pretend you're kind of already a member, right? I don't want to spend too much time on the basics. I already have the basics. You're going to get access to something today called Options Weapon School. You're going to go do some work on your own. You're going to get up to speed, and then it's going to be like you've been here for a while. No more 50 memberships, folks. We're kind of full, so this full throttle is going to be reduced to half. Only 25 memberships. Usually I do 50, but we're a little topped out here, and I don't like hundreds, thousands of people in our live trade briefs as members. It sucks. The quality of the training goes down. So we're a nice tight knit squadron, and we're going to press forward with 25 new members. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about hedging and also tredging. You're going to learn what a tredge is. We placed a tredge 8 days ago, 9 days ago, 8 days ago, the Thursday before last, a trade that also acts like a hedge to protect our portfolio. And that helped us sleep better at night. Some of you exited that tredge. I did. The next day, for a nice 60% profit, some of you kept it on. Not a bad idea. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. And most likely tomorrow, I will put on a new one. This ain't over. Joe Biden, Democrats, opened our borders for 4 years. If you don't believe that there are Iranian terrorist agent sleeper cells in this country, you're a fool. Did you not see what happened in Ukraine last month and Iran just now? Ukrainians and Israelis went into bad guy country, built damn drone factories, and launched a surprise attack from within that country. I don't care what number you use, 10, 15, maybe 20 million people not only walked into this country, Joe Biden flew some of them in. I'm not going to drop anchor here, folks, but stay strapped. Stay vigilant. Head on a swivel when you are out in public, folks. This is the only card they have left to play, the Iranians, which is terror. Don't want to freak you the hell out, man, but keep your head on a swivel. Wednesday, we're going to do synthetic stock, and we're going to talk about psychedelics. The most explosive sector ever in the history of sectors, ladies and gentlemen, is the psychedelic space. I met with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs last month in Washington. The FDA commissioner weeks ago said psychedelics are a top priority for the Trump administration. The new Surgeon General nominee said psilocybin helped, save me and help me find love. Incredible developments in the psychedelic space. And then rounding out our flight schedule for the week, we're doing things backwards. Usually Monday at 10 a.m. is our solo Amazon brief, where we only trade, wait for it, Amazon. We're going to move that to Thursday because that's kind of our gateway drug. That's our starter service here. We only trade Amazon, so you can focus on that one name. And I'm going to tell you on Thursday why we only trade Amazon, because it's the only stock you need to own. Quick reminder, if you're late, you don't have time for the rest of the week, make sure you bookmark this page right here. It is our replay page, okay? Now, obviously, the replay on there right now is from the last Full Throttle, so don't go watch it because the one I'm doing right now will be on the replay page soon enough, okay? So make sure you look at that. Colin from a fellow hunter. I love it. Look at that, man. The Hunters was my last fighter squadron. So I absolutely love that, man. Welcome aboard. Okay. So this is going to take 5 minutes because I don't have time. You can go look up my bio and background, but Navy Hornet pilot, went to Wall Street instead of the airlines. Why? Because of 9/11. That was my first scheduled flight as a pilot for American Airlines. And as Colin can testify, me and Gruff raced out to the Naval Air Station, got armed, and along with the F-16 squadron next door, we manned a combat air patrol. Instead, I went to Wall Street. Why? You don't join the Navy to get rich. I joined the Navy to see the world and deliver justice to bad guys. And I taught myself how to trade. So after getting furloughed, I had to scramble, man. I was trading as a hobby. I had to trade full time to pay my mortgage and feed my wife and my young son, and went to Chicago. I helped run a multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm. I helped build a hedge fund. I helped build the retail brokerage options house that many of you have traded with. So I jokingly tell people I felt like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. You know, this little old homeless guy off the street to the big leagues. And I can tell you, the smart money ain't that smart. God, look at that kid. Look at that young kid compared with this old man right now. So I got a lot of salt and pepper going on here, but I kind of know what I'm talking about, folks. I've been doing this for over 3 decades. I've been trading. I've been teaching people how to trade. I've been a serious investor for a very long time. So I'm not going to go through my resume too much. Wrote a couple books, From Sea Level to Sea Level, leaving the military, going to Wall Street, and my lessons learned, and then COVID crash. I made millionaires out of little old ladies in tennis shoes in the COVID crash. We pounded the market into the dirt. I made $750,000 in a single trade. Thank you, Donald Trump. Remember that one tweet from President Trump? It's in the book. Stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks. The next day, the Dow opened. It went down 3,000 points. Thank you, Mr. President, for that profit. So I wrote a book about it, how we printed money as others panicked. I have one of the top-rated podcasts in the world, rated in the top 2.5% of 3.3 million podcasts. It's called Max Afterburner. Make sure you listen to that. And I'm also the founder and the chairman of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. Why 22, 17, 44 veterans take their own lives every day, which is a mass shooting. I'm doing something about it by getting psychedelic-assisted therapy in the hands of our heroes. Look at that. There goes the S&P 500. It's almost like I do this for a living. My mission objective for our 4 free briefs this week: give you up-to-date intelligence briefs. My phone's blowing up from buddies. I know Dan Kane, Raisin, and I worked together. Oh my God, back in the day. Seeing Raisin yesterday in the Pentagon made my heart smile. And it's funny because I know Raisin. That's deadly serious Raisin. He's funny. He's funny as shit. Great dude. He's in his element. There is no better man to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff than Dan Kane. I love me some Raisin. By the end of this week, you will know how to trade options. If in this brief, through Thursday's brief, you feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose, I'm doing my job. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. There's going to be a little bit of work required on your part, a little bit of elbow grease. Once you put in that little bit of work, you're going to be shooting fish in a barrel. I guarantee you. This ain't hard. I'm a political science major, poor kid from South Jersey, South Philadelphia. If I can do it, you can do it. We literally have little old ladies in tennis shoes, stay-at-home dads, stay-at-home moms, doctors, attorneys, airline pilots. We have a very wide and diverse trading squadron here. You can join it too. Turning panic into profit. Like I said, no offense to the new folks that are here and you're showing up because you don't know how to profit when the market goes down or panic. Welcome. We're a welcoming squadron. But if your 401k turned into a 101k when Trump started blasting during the trade war, that's your fault. That's not Trump's. That's not mine. It's yours. We use a term, pick, pilot in command. Right? When I flew in the F-18 Hornet, I signed for the airplane. I was the pilot in command. You're the tick. You're the trader in command. I don't manage your portfolio. Nobody else cares about your money than you. And no offense to my financial advisors in here, some of my buddies who join these briefs, they always give me grief when I talk like this. Well, Wiz, we have a fiduciary duty as, shut up. If you care more about somebody else's money than they do, they're an idiot. So stop it. Nobody cares more about your money than you. And I'm going to teach you how you can turn panic into profit. Why now? Holy crap, man. Things are literally changing by the minute in the world, in this country. So a lot of geopolitical uncertainty, trade wars. How many times, and if you're new, you haven't heard this at all, the market only cares, say it with me, when it cares. If it doesn't care about something, it doesn't care. But when it does, it might. They're already done. I've been texting with a lot of my mastermind traders this morning. We're already done. Iran's in the rearview mirror. They're not going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I sailed through the Strait of Hormuz 4 times. You're going to tell me our Navy hasn't prepared for that contingency? I already saw some strikes by Israel. There is no Iranian Navy, folks. They do have hundreds of Dows and Junks and Boston whalers they can fill up with bombs. They would all be eliminated within days. Okay? Why do you think the president has moved this much iron into the region? And I just briefed you that Xi Jinping, I just saw the statement like, ain't nobody closing the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, their overlord is China. So all their bluster, ladies and gentlemen, is stupid. The market cares about what now? It's always forward looking. They're not looking back. They are looking to July 9th. I'm going to be out in Aspen doing a flyby for the 4th of July parade, but I'm also going to be doing this. That's the trade deal deadline. July 9th is on the radar. That's what the market cares about right now. They will care if Iran does try to shut down the strait and ooga booga booga. It's not going to happen. And if it happens, it'll be brief. That's why the market's rallying. Real wars. I almost feel bad for Zelensky. Hey, what about us? Over here in Eastern Europe, that's a meat grinder, folks. 3 years we're going on war in Eastern Europe. Now we have war in the Middle East. And if you haven't been keeping up on current events, or at least one of my members, you don't know that the Chinese Navy is flooding the islands right now around Taiwan with surface craft. If I were Xi Jinping, when would I invade Taiwan? Now, or in the immediate future. The U.S. has got their hands all over the place in Ukraine and now the Middle East. What a perfect time. Now, let me fix that. When, not if, when Xi Jinping moves to take back Taiwan, the market will care about that. Taiwan Semiconductor, all those, chips and everything like that made in that little island, the market will freak the hell out. If you were at Top Gun Options, I briefed you 3 years ago on the speech Xi Jinping gave to his military. He gave a date, ladies and gentlemen. I listen to our enemies when they talk like this. 2027. He stood in his olive drab Mao uniform, looking at all the generals and admirals and said, you will be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027. That's on the radar, folks. Out of control debt and spending. What's going on with the big, beautiful bill? What an awful name for out of control debt and spending. I'm an Elon Musk supporter when it comes to this. Stop. When in a hole, cease digging. I don't want to believe, although I probably will believe, that there was some back channel maneuvering going on. He got some senators on board to support the BBB because he did finally strike Iran. That sucks. But anyway, we're broke. We're going broker. And guess what's going on? Jerome Powell's doing nothing. Interest rates. This man is a raging hyper partisan. 2 months before the election, when inflation was going up, the man cut interest rates. I was hearing from the administration that the economy is great and markets are great and unemployment's great and inflation's going up. Why'd you cut? Not only did he cut rates, he cut 50 basis points. Ladies and gentlemen, hyper-partisan Fed chief. We'll talk about this when we start going through our brief. This is just a little bit of the intro. Did you see, what's his name, Wallen? I predicted months ago, ladies and gentlemen, that there would be a Fed lieutenant who kind of rose to the top. Trump ain't going to fire Powell. He tweets at him, yells nasty things at him. He ain't going to fire him. Why? He needs a punching bag. He needs a fall guy, and it's going to be Jerome Powell. But last week, later in the week, did you hear Wallen, one of the Fed lieutenants? I'd be pretty comfortable with cutting rates in July. Whoa. So Trump, I guarantee you, is going to appoint a Fed chief in waiting. He might even announce the appointment early, 6 months before Powell's official term is over, and the market's going to love it. So everything on your screen might be a little bit confusing. I eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff, and I know what the hell I'm doing, and we're going to profit off of all of that. Okay, turning panic into profit is why you're here. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. Let's go take a look. When the president, I'm pretty sure all of us in this room are old enough to remember Fred Sanford, right? Every episode, it seems like he grabbed his chest and said, "This is the big one, and I'm coming, Elizabeth." And Lamont, you big dummy. Guess what? This wasn't the big one, right? I want you to look at this chart. This is essentially since, the turn of the century. I love talking like that. Look at that. So look at this. There's the dot-com pop, right? Then we got a nice little rally. There's the financial crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in the Board of Trade. I went over to the SIBO and looked at the VIX pit when it hit 90 something. What happened after that? We haven't looked back. My God, there's the COVID crash. Buy it. There's Joe Biden's bear market, which I guess the market forgot about until Trump came along. Look at the S&P 500. I mean, these people, the smart money and some Democrats were frothing at the mouth about what? Oh my God, the market is melting down. I want you to look at the top right of that chart. That was the meltdown. Can you believe this? If you did, all the smart money, quote unquote, was panicking. Not a Top Gun option. Look at that meltdown, folks. Why do I have this since 1991? Because that's where I started investing as a young ensign at Naval Air Station Key West. That's how long I've been doing this, folks. I sent 25 or 50 bucks a month to the USAA Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund, which was a lot of money for me at the time. But ladies and gentlemen, does anybody, even if you're a political science major from South Jersey, see a trend? Yeah, the S&P 500 tends to go up and to the right. So if we have time today or tomorrow, look to close your sniper shot. Hang on, we got to take profits, man. No offense to people who have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's go look. Where's that bear call spread? Where is it down here? Maybe a little bit more. That trades up. I'm going to put in a closing order on this one. Let's just put it at, I'm going to put it at 70 cents because it looks like the S&P is starting to implode here. That'll be a 50% profit, $1,000. So if you don't know what's going on, folks, this is called an S&P 500 sniper shot. I'll just show you real quick. Let's go up to the S&P right now. So this is what I did. As we hit about 6,000 right here, about 20 minutes ago, I sent out an alert. Why? 246. We ran out of airspeed, and now we're gonna go down here. So I shot a tactic called a bear call spread up here at what was it, 60, 60, 15, 60, 20, saying the market wasn't going to go all the way up to that today. Well, let me just go look at the order page and yep, there you go. So I shot this trade at $1.40. Currently, the market's at about 85 cents. Okay. So you could take 600, 700 bucks right now. I'm just going to have an order in to close it at a 50% profit because I'm going to be busy talking to you all. So let me show you what we do. We have an app. Once you become a member, you're going to download our app and you're going to get instantaneous alerts whenever I open or close a trade. So let me show you this right here. This is what I just shot right there. This was 39 minutes ago. Bob's in at $1.45. I'm going to at everyone. So everybody, you can see in the background here, 265 members. I'm going to say putting in a closing order to take 50% or that 1K profit. And then I just paste in, I copied it from the order ticket, and I'm going to do that. I might cancel it. If the SPX really starts imploding more, I might cancel it and let it run for a little bit more profit, but I at least want my members to know what I'm doing right now. So this is called the Hunters. You'll be able to join the Hunters starting today. Again, only 25 people, but this is my Lifetime group. There's 213 members over here in Lifetime, and we're going to, there it is right there. We can talk about Lifetime membership down the road. Higher investment, but you get access to everything and don't have to pay except an annual fee ever again. All right, there we go. So even during me doing the opening brief, we're taking profits here. Okay, listen to the president sometimes, except in COVID, when the president said I'd buy stocks here and I made $750,000 in an S&P 500 trade, I didn't believe him, because I knew what was going on. And it was COVID. It was external. Look at this quote. I don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom. But as I said, I can do it the easy way or the hard way. The hard way to do it is exactly what I'm doing. But the results are going to be 20 times greater. The past 2 times in the past 2 months, the president said, I'd buy stocks here. What happened? Within an hour, a day or two, he grabbed his phone and said something good and the market ripped. Okay? So this is a good time, folks. Quick retail investor points. You don't have a trade plan, folks, or you don't have an SOP. I'm going to help you this week. We trade with a trade plan. Trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to get the rear end handed to them. Which one do you want to be? I'm going to give you our proprietary 7-step trade plan, and I'm going to show you throughout the week as I do live trades, my standard operating procedures. You can copy and paste them. You can change yours. You can take the word puppy and make it small dog. I don't care what you do. I'm going to show you how I do things, and then you take it and make it yours. Risk management, folks. One of the retail pain points that I've seen over 3 decades of doing this is you don't know how to manage risk. Let me give you a blinding piece of brilliance right now for your Monday morning. You can't make money if you're losing money. Before we get into any trade this week, we're going to know how much the potential max loss is. And if you're not okay with it, why would you do it? Right? We never look at max profit first. How much can I make in this trade? Wrong. How much can I lose in this trade? And if you're okay with that, like, well, it'll suck, but I know the risk, then we can take a look at max profit. Most retail investors do it the opposite way. I'd love to make $1,000 in, 30 minutes, Wiz. Were you okay with the max potential loss of a couple grand? No, then you wouldn't have done the trade. All right. So I'm going to help you with managing risk. Most retail investors do what? They buy high and sell low. If you panicked during that, trade war for the past couple months, you were a fool. I'm going to tell you at all times, almost all in my life, and I learned this the hard way, I have about 50 to 25% in cash. Why? You have got to have some powder dry. If you are 100% invested in equities, you're going to get destroyed, and you deserve it. Never be 100% fully invested in equities. You have got to have a magazine, some powder dry to walk in and buy some stuff at a discount. This isn't hard, folks. This is Warren Buffett. This is Wiz. You want to buy low and sell high. Trading too large. I'm going to show you every trade this week. I'm going to start initially with one contract, one options contract. Why? Because we have billionaires members here at Top Gun Options trading incredibly large positions, and we have stay-at-home dads or moms or people trading smaller portfolios. So I'm always going to show you one contract in a trade, and then you can scale up from there to whatever your max potential risk is. Okay. And again, I can't tell you how to do that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if this is new to you, I'm going to tell you 90% of trading is emotional. How many of you been in a trade before and you're like, wow, I'm nervous about this, or I can't believe I'm making this much money? Do you know how I am? So I woke up this morning. I took my Maverick Mind microdosing supplement. I meditated for 20 minutes full of gratitude, praying for peace in this world. Nobody should want war. And I got nice and centered. Do you know how I am when I make a ton of money? Okay. Do you know how I am? Rarely happens when I get kicked in the gut and I have a losing trade. I'm okay. If you are trading other than that, you are doing it wrong. If you're like, wow, I'm printing money, this is awesome. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm getting destroyed. You're going to be miserable. Don't do this. Go put your money in a Folgers can and bury it in the yard. And I'm old enough to remember what a Folgers can is. You must trade centered, grasshopper. Okay? Real quick, and then we're going to start looking at some stuff. Let me look at my phone real quick because that's the... Let me answer this real quick. That's an important one. Okay. So what do you need to trade successfully? Training. I didn't say education. The world is full of educated derelicts. You need to be trained. Doctors are trained. Plumbers are trained. Traders are trained. The world is full of educated derelicts. I'm going to give you options weapon school. 7-8 sessions to take a building block approach to get you up to speed. You need a plan. The Ruskies don't take a dump without a plan. What's that? Hunt for Red October. Great movie. Folks, you need a plan that has strategy, what the tactic is, what the risk is, contingency plan. All these media hits I'm doing, folks, I tell people what? You wouldn't believe the contingency plans that went on. They had to have a whole CSAR plan, combat search and rescue. What happens if a B-2 goes down or an F-22 or a Hornet? How are we going to get them out of bad guy country? You need to contingency plan. After you trade and close a position, you need to debrief. What are the lessons learned? Why did I make money? Why did I lose money? How am I going to repeat this? I'm going to lower the exit of my S&P 500 trade if I'm not already filled, because there goes the S&P, and don't worry about it. All right, so there you go, folks. I just made $1,000 in, what was that, 39 minutes live. I got filled. Look at the S&P 500. Just as I told you, I fired the shot right up here and just closed it for a 50% profit. Anybody like making $1,000? And obviously all the new folks, you didn't get that trade. I blasted it out as I was doing my CBS hit before they went to me live. I'm like, I'm going to fire this trade so we can multitask here. Wouldn't that be awesome? You just made $1,000 and you could be done for the day. Go to the beach. Okay. And in addition to a plan and training, you need practical you need to apply this. Okay, Wiz, I did my options weapon school. You gave me a trade plan. What do I go do? Do I just get airborne? No, this is why we have these live trade briefs. Solo Amazon, Accelerated Retirement, and the primary live trade brief. Okay. How do you know, Mr. Smarty Pants, what I need to trade successfully? Well, because I've been you. I have taken some really crappy education back in the day, trading education, and it sucked. So I built something that I would have needed back as a young lieutenant, right? I went from being a little retail trader to running a multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm, right? To starting my own financial media company. This is what Top Gun Options looks like. on the left side of this Chinese wall, we have training. Make sure you open a paper trading, virtual, whatever account. Those B-2 bomber pilots, folks, they practiced that mission repeatedly before they got airborne out of Whiteman to do it live. They do 24, 36-hour simulators, folks. They actually go in the B-2 simulator building and fly that exact mission before they do it for real. You're an idiot if you join Top Gun Options and start firing live missiles and live capital. Go do it. Get comfortable, like, okay, and then I'm going to start firing some real capital. Underneath our training arm with Top Gun Options, we have Solo Amazon and we have Full Throttle. This is what you're going to get access to this week, Full Throttle, or Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday I'll do Solo Amazon. When you're ready to go, and you can join one of these today, Wiz, I'm ready to get airborne. I'll do my training, but I want to get airborne. You can get access to this one today called the Hunters. That's one of our investment clubs. And then, as I said, Max Afterburners Lifetime. That's down the road. We can talk about it. Okay. So let me dig under the Full Throttle arm real quick. We have 7 options weapon school training sessions, and we have the live trade briefs. Those are what you're going to get access to today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then Solo Amazon is going to be on Thursday. Building block approach. Wiz, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know what a stock is or an option is. That's what you're going to get in session 1. This is the market. These are stocks. These are options. Session 2. Now that you know a little bit about options, let's talk about calls. Let's talk about puts. And then we take a building block approach, ladies and gentlemen, all the way down to advanced tactics. This is where you're going to need to start. And you're also going to get access to your manuals, primary, intermediate, and advanced. Okay? Proprietary materials. And then obviously our live trade briefs. Reminder, Solo Amazon is not included in Full Throttle. It's its own standalone brief. Usually today, we're kicking it out to Thursday so we can do this Full Throttle. Okay? We have an app. It's called Go Collab. You get instantaneous alerts. As soon as I fired that trade, I got an alert on my phone. Instantaneous alerts with our app. And there's our Max Afterburner group, and there's our Hunters. We have a couple different threads where I post my intel, and the other one is just where I post my trades. Okay? I'm not going to go through case studies. You can go look at Trustpilot, all sorts of stuff like that. We have the highest rating amongst all of those things. And hopefully in the chat box, some of my members have been, answering and how they're doing as well. Okay. Wow. And there's a lot of comments in here. Sorry. Dan Ron, 3 for 3 S&P 500 trades in the last 5 days. Thanks, Wiz. You are welcome, Mo. And it's almost like I knew what I'm doing, folks. When did I exit that? I knew that. I knew we were going to, you see that right there? I knew we were going to bounce. That's why I closed the bear call spread, made $1,000, 50% in 39 minutes. We might actually get a little bit of a rally back up to 6,000. But okay, let's do a quick intel brief. We got to rip through some intel. And then if I have time, we're going to get tactical. Man. Let me see if this guy can slide this interview. This is BBC, like in the United Arab Emirates. Okay, but let me do some quick intel. This can't be any more bullish, folks. Look at that headline. Israel seeks to wrap up conflict with Iran soon. UN Atomic Energy Chief says there's a lot of damage. Okay, so let's say, and it sounds like they're playing whack-a-mole, like, oh, well, we moved all our bombs. It sounds like Netanyahu said that they actually had nuclear weapons, folks, like 9 of them. Take that with a grain of salt. I take everything that's said to me with a grain of salt until I look at my own stuff. But look at that. This isn't going to be and I've been catching some heat from some people who can't do critical thinking. This ain't no Iraq or Afghanistan. And screw George Bush for polluting a generation of Americans who think like this. This is back. I'll put myself in the sentence with President Trump. I do not want forever wars. I do not want boots on the ground. You ready? Let me back up even one step further. I don't want war. I'm healing men and women who suffered from this type of stuff. I want peace. But having the world's largest terrorist country and state sponsor of terror, who's killed nearly 1,000 Marine soldiers and airmen. Iraq never killed 1,000 Marine soldiers and airmen. Afghanistan didn't. They were hiding Al Qaeda, which did 9/11. But this is a country who literally has killed Americans. So don't get me started. Getting rid of the nukes, or setting them back, even if we put them on trucks and they're scattered around Iran. You ain't doing this anytime soon, man. We've knocked your ambitions back decades at a minimum, if not for good. What I'm getting at is this. This is almost over. And I'm not going to do a George Bush mission accomplished on the Lincoln, my old carrier. It was mission accomplished for that carrier, but nobody wants to tell you the real story. But look at this. I fully expect this. Okay, Iran retaliation, the things I'm hearing, the president has maybe kind of communicated like you can kind of shoot back a little bit to save face. He wants a deal. Trump didn't want to do this. We're used to 4 years of Mumbles, McShitty Pants, and Cackle not doing what they say. The guy gave him 60 days. You got 60 days to disarm or I'm going to take him out. Well, we're boom. Holy shit, that guy actually meant it. I'm hearing that they have back channeled like, if regime change happens, great, it happens. But I want a deal. The guy is a deal maker. Read the book, The Art of the Deal. He wants a deal. He doesn't want this type of shit. So we'll let you lob some stuff back, and then it's over. We're going to call this a day, or I'm going to destroy you. And he's more or less said that publicly. This isn't news. But our forces in the region, most of them have been evacuated, or bases in Iraq, Syria, and other unnamed countries have some pretty good air defense systems. So they're kind of at their most estimates I see 50% of all their stuff is gone anyway. They're running out of weapons anyway to do this type of stuff. But I would expect, and I'm hearing in my back channels, the next day or two, they are going to do a limp-wristed response to that. Okay. So this was comical. Over the weekend, all these people frothing at the mouth that, oh my God, they're going to shut this down the Strait of Hormuz. I'm like, are you that dumb? Thank God President Trump is drill, baby, drill. Thank God we are energy independent under this administration. Hell, we are a net exporter of oil at this point. We get max, I talked to my commodities guy in our group, 5% from this region. China gets 50% from this region. So what happened this morning? Chinese issues warning to Iran after threats to close the Strait of Hormuz. The Persian Gulf and nearby waters are vital trade corridors. They must be kept stable and free from disruption. This guy's got enough problems on his own at home with housing and debt and all sorts of stuff like that. They don't need no oil at $130 a barrel. China would be destroyed. They will not close the Strait of Hormuz, I guarantee you. That's another reason why the market's rallying. And if I was really paying attention to the screen, we probably would have shot a bull put spread down here. Look at that. This is why you take profits, man. Pigs get slaughtered. I'm glad we put in that closing order to close that. Okay. Last week, ladies and gentlemen, what did we do? We did it a month ago. We also did this 2 months ago. We did long-term bullish trades on, say it with me, Raytheon. Look at this headline. U.S. races to defend Israel as it burns through missile interceptors. Short supplies of high-end defenses could lead to rationing. Holy crap. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I have time, I'll show you our long-term bullish position on Raytheon, or you should have done it. Look at the rally in Raytheon. Anybody see a trend? So we had a run up into earnings. You see that E? That's earnings. We ran up into earnings. It gapped down, and it hasn't looked back. It went from 110-ish to, I think we got close to 150 on Raytheon. Boeing makes the B2, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to get long-term bullish on the defense stocks. Well, Wiz, you just said this thing's almost over. Yeah, it is, and we're out of weapons. So Raytheon's got an order, an order sheet for the next couple years to replenish our missiles. So even though this might be over in shortly, the defense stocks are going to rally. And don't forget, I already told you about China. Xi Jinping is going to move on China. It's not a matter of if, but when. Let's talk operationally. If you don't know the flow of my brief right now, we start strategically. SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. Strategic, I just got done with it. Now we're going to talk about operationally here in the States, and then we get tactical and then trade. That's the final part of the brief. And again, my apologies, I'm not ignoring questions in here. We have 262 people in here right now. At the end of the brief, if I have time, I'm going to go back, but this is a live demonstration of why we don't have 262 members. I don't want that many people in here because I can't stand seeing the little warning thing or the light pop up that there's somebody just posted a comment. In a regular live trade brief, not a free one, I'm going to be in there and answering each one as we go. Don't have time for it. What happened last week? Jerome Powell, ladies and gentlemen, we placed an iron condor. Mo is talking about two of the trades that we placed last week were iron condors. What's an iron condor? They were a range-bound trade. There was so much elevated volatility around the Fed meeting last Wednesday in the press conference. It was free money. The volatility was so high that we put on a wide iron condor. It's a football field, folks, meaning the market can run all over the place in between as long as it doesn't step out of bounds. I think last week was like a close to about a $7,500 week full of profits just in our S&P 500 trades. Here's what I'm getting at. We are closer to Jerome Powell cutting rates than farther away from it. Okay. I mean, the president's obviously trolling this guy on social media. Stupid Powell doesn't cut rates, should have, and all sorts of stuff like that. But as I briefed you at the beginning, I mean, let's just look at his exact quote. 11/11, we're on the right path. Too late, Jerome Powell is costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars. He is truly one of the dumbest and most destructive people in government, and the Fed board is complicit. Europe has had 10 cuts. We had none. We should be 2.5 points lower and save billions on Biden's short-term debt. It's also yours, Mr. President. We have low inflation. Too late's an American disgrace. Wow. Then what happened? Well, we got a Fed lieutenant coming out saying, we could actually cut next month. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, when, not if, the Fed cuts rates, we're going to rip. Okay. So we have, I call it America. We have a bullish on America trade that we put on, what was it, 2 months ago down here. Every current TGO member in the America trade, please, for the new potential members, tell them how your America trade's doing. And since I am going to have to go for this hit in a little bit, I'm going to give you this. Okay. Where is it? I'm going to have to go back. You need to watch this video. Men lie, trades don't. So all of my current members, I need you in the chat box right now. Tell all the other folks who are just showing up how your trade is doing. Watch this. Okay. Watch this bullish on America trade. Because I'll cover this tomorrow, what a new one would be. Mitch, profitable, up $4,000 so far. Rick is up 100% so far. So everybody, before all the comments start coming in, you have got to click on that link. Brent, over 100. Watch this trade brief. It's only, 18 minutes. Okay. Watch that one. You have got to watch this for a small minimal. And I want you to look at this right now. You see this right here? $2,300 this trade cost. You know how much it could potentially made when you put it on? 98 grand. This trade is years out into the future. Did you not see at the beginning of the brief when I told you, when I showed you the S&P 500, what it's done over time? For the past 15 years, ladies and gentlemen, the S&P 500 has returned an average of 13%. If the S&P continues, and I think it's going to perform even more, when the president gets some of these wars over with and the trade deals done, he's going to make the first term look flat. We are going to rip. Now, I'm a fighter pilot. I'm an options trader. I always got one hand on the injection handle and looking for the exit. So we will always be a little cautiously bullish. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I would absolutely put on this bullish on America trade. So that's your homework. Let's do that. This is your homework for all the potential new members. Since we're going to end this brief a little bit early, this is what you're going to go to. Look at Greg, up over $8,000 on the America trade. Wow. I absolutely love that, ladies and gentlemen. Silva, over 100%. Everybody who got it on at the beginning is over 100%. Let me get a show of hands. How many of you would love to be over 100% in a month or two? Longer dated trade, bullish, right? This is a longer dated trade that's bullish on the S&P 500 out into the future. Short term, we can be neutral to bearish. Okay. So, oh shit. All right. So I got 5 minutes until I have to log into this Dubai BBC or whatever it is media hit. So I'm not going to have time to get super tactical. So that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be your homework. I'd probably be going for another half an hour in this brief. And funny enough, this video is 18 minutes. You're going to go watch that video. But here's what I'm going to do, because I already saw a couple people already joined, which is fantastic. So here's the deal. Full throttle, ladies and gentlemen, is where you want to go. And I'm only going to take 25 new members, like I said, this week. Tomorrow's more calm. I only have a Elizabeth Vargas hit tomorrow night. Today was a little packed with media hits. So my apologies, and I appreciate your flexibility. But let me give you this link, because I'll close the doors when we get all our new members. If you're a current member who joined and didn't get in on one of these, you can attest to this, right? Like, yeah, I wasn't allowed to join after he filled up. So scroll down. Let me snooze this real quick. Oops. Yeah, I am quadruple scheduled here. This is where you want to go. $29.95 for a year. Okay. You get access to the hunters, all the full throttle, the options weapon school training. That's where the majority of our members are. Wiz, I want to try you out for a couple months, but I want access to that investment club, the hunters, and the app. Do it, $4.97 for a couple months. I just paid with one trade in 39 minutes, 2 months of your hunters, or a third of an annual membership. And I guarantee as I sit here the rest of the day, I'm going to shoot a couple more snipers, and I'll probably make your entire membership right here. The $2.95, ladies and gentlemen, is legit tire kicking. You don't get access to the hunters, but you get access to everything else. Wiz, I want to check you out for the next 30 days. It's only $295, okay? With all of these, you get access to that options weapon school training. And look at this. Options weapon school, if you just wanted to take the training for whatever reason, is a little dumb, because it's $297. Why wouldn't you do the damn full throttle at $295? You're actually saving $2, right? So options weapon school is more expensive. Just the training is more expensive than doing the training with over here. So $295 is your tire kicker. Hunters is your medium tire kicker, because you get access to the our app and our hunters. But folks, I'm telling you, you're going to end up, even if you do one of these, you're going to end up in the middle here eventually. Okay. We'll talk about solo Amazon on Thursday. All right. But that's really our gateway drug. So, but I'm telling you, we're closing the doors at 25. My apologies. I didn't get to get tactical today and do a trade, but I did do a trade before we logged in here. And as you can see, our members got it right there. This is our hunters right here. Okay. And there it is right there. Boom. Got in at this, got out at that, 50% profit, $1,000. Love it. Okay. Let me go back. I got to log in 5 minutes or 4 minutes. Let me just see if I can answer some questions here. Yeah. So we'll talk about the SPX trade tomorrow, but you just got homework. You're going to go watch it. Go watch that 18-minute video of me placing the America trade. Brent, you nailed it. Two things can be true at once. We can be long-term bullish on America out into the future, and we can be short-term neutral to bearish to bullish, and we're gonna talk about that. Absolutely. So let me scroll up here. Celia, yeah, you're up 25% in your America trade. It might be down over the past week because the S&P went down a little bit, but folks, this trade is long-term bullish out into the future. Okay, so absolutely. Hunters trades often aren't market. Yeah, exactly, Donna. Usually the market has the most movement in the first, we call it amateur hour, the first hour and the last hour. I'll be honest with you, in Chicago, drinking coffee, trading the first hour, then we'd go to the gym the middle of the day, or go, sadly, back in the day, go drink. I'm like, when I first got there, I'm like, it's 10:30 in the morning. Yeah, let's go, Wiz. Yeah, not good. Then you come back and you trade the last hour. So that's absolutely correct. Folks, I don't sit here all day, man. I would rather get my teeth drilled. If you're wondering about all of this stuff, I'll shoot. If I didn't have you to talk to, I would have shot that sniper, and I'd literally be at the beach today down here in Boca Raton, Florida. I'd be doing foundation work. I'd be doing 90 other things and living. If you made $1,000 a day, how many trading days, ladies and gentlemen? Say it with me. So $1,000 a day times 252 trading days. How many of you wouldn't mind making potentially $250,000 a year? Okay. And that's not even talking about all our other positions I have on. This week, we're going to talk about Amazon. We're going to talk about JP Morgan. We're going to talk about SIBO, Chicago Board Options Exchange. With all of this crazy trading going on, guess what people are doing? Trading that through the SIBO, all these options trading. So we're going to talk about all sorts of different long-term bullish positions out into the future, and then we're going to trade the front months right now. Okay. All right. I just got a text from my PR lady. They're asking where I am. So you have homework. Well, your first homework is to go to the Top Gun Options YouTube channel and subscribe. This replay is going to be on this page shortly, and the replay page. But make sure you subscribe and like this page, but you have got to go watch the America trade. Okay, I already gave it to you. I'm not going to repeat myself, but just scroll down. It's got my ugly mug on the front, wearing a sport coat. There it is right there. One more time, I'm going to give you this link. Go watch it right now. Okay, I'll get this replay posted shortly. Again, I apologize. Other than our sniper trade, I didn't get into what I was going to get into today. But whenever stuff happens like this, we got to go. Yeah, John, my kids went to the Panthers parade. I sat on the couch. There's no way in hell I was going down to Fort Lauderdale to go to that Panthers parade. All right, we'll be back. Regularly scheduled brief time tomorrow morning. It's going to be 10 a.m. for the Hunters. I'm sorry, the primary live trade brief. Okay, so normal brief tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be maneuvering for any media hits, but make sure you keep an eye on your email. All right, folks, I got to go. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. And Basi Basi. Wiz out. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.